Alrighty fam, welcome back to JK Outdoors. Today we're going to be doing an overview of OnX hunt maps. OnX is available in all 50 states. It's a tool you use for hunting for access points, roads, trails, tools for area, distance, see geographical features. So we're going to jump right into it.
Big fish, big fish.
Freaking hog. Oh my gosh.
Roundabout.
I can't. He's huge.
Big boy, you hear that thud?
Alrighty, so let's go. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. You should be able to see it now. As you can see, I have the state of Idaho. Currently, the layers that are on are the private lands, government lands, and then the GMU. So, for example, you can turn these layers on and off and on. Today, we're just going to kind of pick a random unit to dissect and what I would do if I was going to be hunting in that unit. Again, it's just going to be a brief overview, but hopefully get us in the right area. Let's go to 37. I've never hunted in 37, may never in my future. But as we've zoomed in a little closer, you can see the government lands on the map. Yellow on OnX is typically BLM. You can see BLM there. And then green is going to be the national forest. So in this case, the Chalice National Forest. You can click on areas in any zone and it will tell you kind of an overview. This is the National Forest. This is a game management unit number 37 right now. And then you can go through the additional details. So this hunt unit's number 37, 2021. There's 20 bulls harvested. There's a total of 63 elk, deer, and then bucks. The weather currently in this zone, -3, sunrise, sunset. And then it'll kind of give you a forecast of the week for the next 10 days. And then, the lunar cycles. So kind of crazy and cool, just cool tips to have. I think for this case, I'm going to act like I am going to be hunting. I am from Chalice, but I'm hunting in 37. So let's go through some of the layers real quick. We're in Idaho. We've turned on the private. So, for example, you can see private lands right here. Actually, that's the name of all the landowners. If you want to hunt on someone's specific property, you know who to look for. But you can turn those off or on. It's just a helpful tool to keep on. Again, 2 areas that you might be able to hunt in Idaho access, yes, or private lands that people have open their property for people to come hunt at. Additional land and access layers. You can, play with these on and off. You can see if there's any Rocky Mountain Foundation areas in your zone that you'll be hunting. Right off the bat, I don't see any areas, but doesn't mean that they're not there. Wilderness areas. On and off, not necessarily good range. There's not wilderness in this zone, but you can come down to the roads and recreation. So you can see you'll want to leave on all the trails, right? Because you'll be hiking those or driving or whatever. A cool tip or thing that they do is the trail slope. So you can see this trail starts off pretty minimal, and then you can see where there's a few steeper areas, and then it kind of levels off, another steep area. Just kind of cool when you're, see what kind of trail you're dealing with. Roadless areas. I've used this in the past to find areas that aren't necessarily very accessible by road. So these, you can see the pink very lightly in these areas. The mountain, pretty purpley pink, so not very accessible. You go outside the zone, you can see these really hot areas that are not very accessible to anyone. So kind of cool. It just gives you a kind of general idea, like this might be an area to look at if you're one to get off the road, to get off the trail and find the animals. I'm working through, so many different things. Historic wildfire. Doesn't look like there's been a wildfire in 37. It would show up as kind of mustard yellow. Timber cuts. Not, so many crazy, cool little, I know a lot of whitetail hunters would probably get a little more into the tree types. Wildlife. So it's, I'm kind of just giving you a quick overview, right? You can jump in here later and play with the different layers and what they mean to you. But let's jump at what I would do for 37. So I'm in Chalice. First thing I'm going to do is check out this terrain. I'm a little unfamiliar. I'm going to turn on hybrid, so it's a topo and a satellite view. I'm going to get into 3D, and I am going to start looking around at the geological features of this area. I might just start out in satellite to see these mountains. So first off, for me, there's a lot of water, but there's not a lot of tree cover. And for me, I've not really ever found elk out in the desert like this. So I'm going to go see if there's any other tree cover in the unit. So I'm seeing some right here. The one problem I'm noticing is this highway that is coming all along the base of these mountains. So very easy hike for people to get up to glass and look up into each of these little fingers. So it's not call my name. So let's jump over to the other side of the mountains. Let's see. This area looks interesting. Pretty open. It's not showing any water. Doesn't mean that there's not water there. I've found water where, OnX obviously doesn't know about it. Every single water source, but moving around. No areas are really calling my name. I like this kind of deep timber patch. They come down here, but there's also a trail you can see, so easy access for a lot of people. I'm kind of liking this area. Ooh, you know what? There's a road right here, but look at this whole drainage without a road. I'm liking this area. There's looks like a watering hole right here. So one thing I like to do is, sometimes it's hard to see it on the map, so I put a bigger item and do water source. Look at all the different types of waypoints you can add, your camp. Okay, you found a dead head here. You saw an elk here. There's a food plot here. In this case, we're putting water. Make it blue because it's cool like that. And then we'll drag it over here and drop it. So there's that. One other thing, I like this road. So I'm doing access point. This is where I'm going to start hiking from, the end of this road. So we'll drop that. We'll save that. Perfect. One thing I double check, I zoom in really close to see. You can see there's a dirt road right here, but it almost looks like it ends right there. It might go through the trees, but I do not see it coming out on the little bit, but it might be four-wheeling. Anyways, might be better just to hike it out. So I'm going to start right there. And then my goal, would B kind of get into this little more open area. See some animals popping out up here. So I'm just saying that for example. I don't necessarily know that area. Let's see how far of a hike it is. So this is my hike path. Make it a blue line. I'm starting right here, hitting right here roughly. You know, you can kind of pick the points. It looks like it's about a 5-mile hike back there. And it is quite the elevation gain. So 2,000 elevation gain from start to finish. And then 5 miles. I think this is a really cool tip and trick. And kind of see you know, there's a little valley. Looks like, 2 miles in. Might be good to camp there. Who knows? But again, you can kind of look through and see what kind of terrain features there are here. Oh, you see this? Pond. So we'll mark that again. Elk love, they need water. Wallows. Just a good place. So I will, I already have a few points marked up. These are good places to look at. One thing when I'm just looking at a general area, this is my first choice, hunt A. So I will zoom out and I will kind of just make a little circle around the area I think I'll be hunting. And this is just when I zoom out, watch. Super easy to find. This is where I'm going. This is where I think I'm going to be. And then turn on the topo, click it in 3D. Let's start analyzing some of the terrain in this area and see where we think there would be elk. So it's not very, we've picked this area because not a lot of people are going to be here, hopefully. You do not want to be hiking up these. You see how close these lines are together. You do not want to be hiking up this. I'm telling you from experience, you do not want that. So, where do you want to go? Where will the elk be? They like steep terrain, but they don't like this even terrain. One thing that's catching my eye right now, even though this is so dang steep, it's about, let's see, it's the bottom of the ring, 74, so probably like 7,200. You know what's right here? This little sweet spot right here. You see how it's covered in trees? Just a little bench area that they can hang out on. Come down here at night, drink some water, come back up on their perch, hang out in the trees where they are warm, or not warm, but shaded from the sun, and they're hanging out. There's not steep terrain. They're not worrying about, I don't know, things that elk worry about. This, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be elk in this area, and I don't know, just cool. So that's kind of, honestly, these are kind of tips and tricks that I use. It's not for everyone. It's not the end all be all, but it's going to get you somewhere. You're going to be able to be familiar with what you're looking at before you just drive out there and you say, well, I'm going to find a camping spot. No, you're going to find a camping spot right now. You're going to say, you know what? If they're right here, I'm thinking they're right here. I'm seeing a sweet little open valley right here. Help yourself out. Say camp spot. And what's cool is you can share all these waypoints with family, friends, so they know where you're at when you are all by yourself, and they will know where your camping spot's at, where you plan on hunting, and I plan on going over the app that has a few other tools such as tracking yourself, this and that I think would be super beneficial. Offline maps, blah, 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 blah. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully you found some tips and tricks that you found useful, and I hope you guys like and subscribe, and we will get you some more content coming your way soon. So, catch you later. Booyah.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror.